Now, obviously, in order to shoot a 6-hour wedding, I know that seems kind of crazy, but in order to shoot a 6-hour wedding, it absolutely becomes possible only if your very first contact with your bride, you kind of start conditioning her and start kind of paving the road, saying, hey, we'd love to shoot your wedding. Let me tell you a little bit about what we do and why we do it this way. So it starts by educating your bride that, hey, we shoot your wedding in 6 hours. That is more than enough coverage to handle what we need to do to ensure that we get exactly what you need. You educate her by saying, listen, we do weddings every single week. We've been doing this for X number of years, so we've got it almost down to a science to ensure that we cover your wedding and get everything that we absolutely need, because honestly, there's no need for us to be together for 14 hours and me have a camera in front of your face for 14 hours. You're going to get so aggravated and inundated with pictures. You're hiring a professional to do a great job in a timely manner. So that's kind of how we work. So it just starts with education, 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 and then I always say, when you're done educating them, educate them a little bit more. So you can shoot a wedding in 6 hours. We do it almost all the time, and I've been doing it for several years now, so it is possible, but only if you set the standard for 6 hours and you say, well, this is what we do and this is why we do it. So condition your brides and you can get home a lot sooner and still shoot a great wedding and get everything that they need. Another very important key component is the wedding planner. You've got to get to that wedding planner very early on. Basically, as soon as they hire a wedding planner, you need to get on the phone and get in touch with them. Introduce yourself, explain to them what you do, and explain that you're very excited to work with them, but they need to know your schedule. They need to know that you're going to be available for 6 hours. Or if you choose to shoot longer or whatever, let them know, hey, I'm going to be here for the X amount of time. So for me, I'll say, just say if her name was Wendy. Wendy, it's so nice to meet you. We go through that whole spiel, and I'll say, let me tell you a little bit about what I can do so that hopefully you can start to kind of plan your day around my time. That may sound a little conceited, a little tough, but listen, I want to be in charge of my schedule. I don't want someone else in charge of my schedule telling me when I need to start, when I need to do this, when I need to do that. I'm in charge of my wedding, not a wedding planner. Again, I'm not saying that to sound mean, but I want to be in charge. I'm tired of shooting weddings for 10, 11, 12, 13 hours, and by the last 4 hours or 6 hours of the wedding, when you start to really look at it, all you're doing is taking a bunch of pictures of people dancing normally. And you've already, if you can get in and get 25 really good shots, I mean, how many images are really going in their album anyway? So it's just food for thought, something to think about. But you want to be very good friends with that wedding planner. You plan a wedding for a year. Your bride and groom, or your bride especially, is supposed to be ready at, let's just say, 12 o'clock. And you're so excited to shoot. Everything is perfect. It rained the morning before, but now you're on the way to the wedding. It's a beautiful little overcast day. You're so excited. The church is beautiful. Everything's going to be awesome. You're so excited. You get to the church. They're supposed to be ready at 12, and come 12 o'clock, she's still not even remotely started on her hair and makeup. And in my experiences, that's really, really aggravating. So another way to overcome that is to set yourself a really stringent and a really strict time constraint. So my bride knows, hey, I've got Blair for 6 hours today, so I'm really going to respect the fact that I have 6 hours, because if I'm not ready on time and I don't follow this timeline, I'm really messing myself up. That's what the bride is saying. So she says to her bridesmaids, listen, you better be ready at 12 o'clock. Do you understand? I've been planning this wedding for a year, and I've got my wedding photographer for 6 hours. We've laid everything out. We've spent the last week and a half fine-tuning everything. So what it does is it makes them respect your time, makes them give you the proper amount of time that you need to shoot a wedding. Because again, there's nothing more aggravating than people not being ready and you having to take the brunt of all the pressure and saying, well, they weren't ready in time. They wasn't ready in time, so what can I do? You have no choice but to make it up somehow. And a lot of times you find yourself really pressed for time. So nobody needs that. So there again, that's why I set those time constraints the way I do. A 6-hour wedding, it keeps me fresh. It keeps me interested in weddings. If I was shooting for 12, 10, 13 hours a day, I wouldn't like weddings anymore. So I set it for 6. I give that 30-minute warning right before I'm going home. Hey, is there anything else that you guys need? I'm going to be here for about 30 more minutes. If you need anything, just wave your hand, and I'm right here at your beck and call. So if we missed anything, if there's anything possible that you can think of, any special people here that we didn't get a picture with, anything at all that you can think of, you let me know before I leave. That does 2 things. That lets them know that in 30 minutes, I'm leaving. And then number 2, it might put a little bit more pressure on them. What if you get home and they say, well, Blair, we noticed there's not a picture in here of Uncle Steve and myself. And that's when you can say, well, I didn't know you really wanted a picture with Uncle Steve, but you remember I came up 30 minutes before I left and I said, just think really hard. If there's anybody at all, you let me know. So it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on them. So again, shooting a 6-hour wedding may not be possible for every single person in every single scenario, and it's not always possible for me, but 99% of the time, it's 6 hours and I'm out. So give it a shot. You never know what could happen. It could change your life, your family's life, and put you on a whole nother road to success. So give it a shot.